I do have a presentation. If anybody's interested in seeing that, you can always see that on YouTube. Because of course I did do that first over here. So you guys watching me on this side, YouTube, and everywhere else. You guys over here is TikTok. Specifically about expectations today, you can see it on the screen over here. Do expectations ruin relationships? Are you the problem or the solution? It's a little bit different from my typical lives, but I'm doing that on purpose because GBRLIFE encompasses a lot of different things, and this is just one of the realms, right? Wellness, and it's important, right? Our lives are not just technology. And shoot, in technology, what do you think they make it all from? They're considering our psychology. What do we expect as humans? I mean, that's going to be part of the whole discussion. All right. So now I can see the chat from here. What's up, guys? Talking expectations. I can see the chat from here. Let me see, can I see the chat? Twitch, I can't see my chat. Where's my chat? Where are you at? I'm just trying to say words. I can see you. I can see, and which is funny too, because typically the issue is YouTube. I'm sorry I said it. I'm sorry. But it is, and usually Twitch is just amazing with pretty much everything. I don't have preferences. Where's my chat? I wonder if I can... I kind of can. Alright, Twitchers. Why am I calling you that? I don't know. Okay. It is what it is. Alright, we're gonna get started anyways. Because, I mean, it's only one chat I can't see this time. Normally it's like all of them. One is better than nothing. That's missing. Although maybe I see panels. No. Because like I'm on my thing. I'm on my stuff. Why is this not here? Why are you all not there? That's okay. That's okay. I am okay. Are you okay tonight? Hopefully everybody's having an amazing night. I am sick. No, I'm not. I mean, because I expelled the sickness from my life. It's not part of my life anymore. But I will be drinking some water throughout because I didn't do that the last time. And my God, was that too much on me? 2 hours without really drinking any water. I would not suggest doing that when you're talking the whole time. Okay. So let's get really into this. And we're doing this for real. The fun stuff. All right. Are we excited? Do expectations ruin relationships? But before I get started, let's do the GBRLIFE introduction. Yay! Here it is. On GBRLIFE tutorials, I'm going to ask you 1 million questions. When you're hitting into fitness, you Okay, that was fun. Finally got that. It is on a loop right now. I'll take the loop off, but I love it so much that I literally just put it on when I'm not live or anything, and I'm just like, GBRLIFE. It's awesome. Okay, so now that you see the new intro, let's really get started. Good evening, everyone. Oh, and I also forgot to actually pull up my notes. I was doing so well. Okay, here we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition to GBRLIFE Live, while I'm fixing my headphones, where we dive deep into the topics that matter. Today, we explore a concept that touches every aspect of our lives: expectations. From societal norms to family obligations and our own inner benchmarks, expectations play a significant role in shaping how we view ourselves and others. Didn't we know I was going to say that? Of course they are. But are they always beneficial? How have they evolved? And what can we do to ensure that they don't impede our relationships and well-being? We'll dive into these questions, share some insights, a few of my anecdotes, and of course my humor along the way, because I can't keep anything too serious. And of course, I want to hear from all of you. So unless you're on Twitch, I can't see you, but other than that, please join into the chat as I'm going through. Don't worry about it. And if I happen to miss a question, remember, you can always leave comments. All right, so let's get into the roots of expectations. So in their simplest form, they are beliefs about how things should be. Okay, yeah, we know that, right? But it's important to really make that clear, and we'll say why in a moment. They are the standards that we set for ourselves and for others. And often, they're rooted in societal, familial, and personal influences. Societal expectations are from a young age, and society dictates what is acceptable and what is not. So that could be your career paths, the gender roles. Even our appearances are often molded by societal expectations. Think about the pressure to achieve certain milestones by certain ages: graduating, getting a job, marriage, starting a family. These expectations can feel like a checklist for a successful life, often leaving us feeling really pressured and inadequate, especially if we don't hit those milestones exactly as they say, exactly when they say. And then there's educational pressures. Schools and academic systems contribute to societal expectations by emphasizing certain subjects or career paths. Right? Think about that. So for instance, there's often pressure to pursue STEM. That's now though. STEM fields, business, law, while creative pursuits can be seen as secondary. And they can lead to students feeling completely compelled to follow the paths that don't actually align with their passions. Is that good? And then there's cultural norms, where there's those are societal expectations that are influenced by culture. Cultural norms. In some societies, they're so strong that they can emphasize more the family roles, right? So it takes away from everything else. It's about that family role. And providing for children or caring for elderly parents. And in other individual success and independence, that doesn't have to be prioritized, right? That's at least what they'll say, or they'll make it feel. And those cultural norms shape how we view our roles and responsibilities. So, everyone watching, how have societal expectations impacted your career or personal choices? Did you feel pressured by the cultural norms? Or have you found ways to forge your own path? Feel free to share your stories. I'd love to hear them, truly. Well, continuing on. In just a second, actually. Because I did what I always do and I lost my spot. Who does that? I do that. Okay, no, but I found it. And that's why, okay, you saw it, you heard it. I was trying not to cough. I was like, oh God, don't do it. And I do have a cough drop. But I don't want to use it because then you're all going to hear that I have a cough drop in my mouth. And I don't know. It can be an annoying sound to me. Is this an expectation that I put upon myself? I don't know. All right. So let's continue along here, though. So then there's family expectations. Families play a crucial role in shaping our beliefs, like with your parents, grandparents, extended family. They can impose their own standards and consciously or unconsciously push us down a path. And then there's legacy and tradition. Many families expect their children to carry on traditions or follow in their footsteps. This could mean taking over a family business or upholding cultural practices or achieving milestones like marriage or parenthood, again, by a specific age or just in a specific way to specific people. And while these expectations can provide a sense of continuity and belonging, they can also feel like a burden. Oh no, it gets worse. Then there's supportive versus overbearing family expectations, because some of them are supportive, but they can vary greatly in how they're communicated and perceived, because hey, we all have different personalities. See, supportive families might encourage personal growth and exploration, whereas overbearing families can impose rigid standards leading to guilt, resentment, or what most people know, rebellion. I remember a time personally when I had, when my family had certain expectations for me. And I felt torn between fulfilling those and following my own path. And it was a balancing act on how I decided to face it. Have you guys had any familiar, I keep saying that way, family expectations? Again, feel free to share your stories. But then there's personal expectations. So yeah, I mean the ones you put on yourself. And as we grow and develop our own set of expectations, which can stem from internalized societal and family standards, or they can emerge from our personal desires or goals, but they come from our inner critic. Our personal expectations can manifest as an inner critic, constantly judging our actions and achievements. And these headphones want to fall off of me. So that's, okay. Anyways, our inner critic, right? Manifesting as that's always fun, right? But the point is we constantly judge our own actions and achievements. The inner voice that we have can lead to self-doubt, anxiety, or even depression if we feel we're not meeting our own standards. We're doing it to ourselves. And then we have perfectionism. And many people have these unrealistic expectations for themselves, aiming for perfection in various aspects of life. And that can lead to burnout and a constant sense of dissatisfaction despite the external success. In other words, we all see you being successful, but you don't feel that way. And let's not forget the times when our expectations for ourselves turn into a comedy of errors. Like the time I tried a balancing act between a demanding job, being pregnant, having a toddler, and some personal projects, all while convincing myself that I could take on creating and buying new shirts for a celebration that was coming up, and being there for a friend who was also pregnant. I can't tell you how many times I fell asleep while I was working because the pregnancy fatigue did not care about my people-pleasing behaviors. I mean, I would just, I'm out. Right there. And I had to learn. Sometimes it was just learning about saying no, but also learning what I was doing to myself. And learning that juggling all these things at once, again, I'm doing it to myself, but that wasn't necessarily the norm. Like, everybody doesn't do that. But I thought they did because that was my own expectation. And when I look back now, I'm like, what was I doing? So now let's start talking about changing expectations, which is why I had that on the screen. You don't see that TikTok, but everybody else. Changing expectations, I have that over there. I kind of left it there for a reason. Because expectations aren't static, and I wanted you to kind of read over that. Evolve over time. So let's see how they change and what that can mean for us. For one, you have societal shifts. Over the past few decades, societal norms have shifted significantly. Roles have become more fluid. Traditional milestones are being questioned. That's not a bad thing. It's actually good, but this does happen from time to time. It's not new. And then there's career flexibility. The rise of the gig economy jobs, freelancing, and remote work, even though that's kind of also gone a little bit too, but it's challenged the traditional career paths. People are like, do I want this or do I want that? And they're thinking about that. And people are now exploring multiple careers or roles at the same time, redefining what it means to have a successful professional life that you choose. And of course, there are gender roles. Traditional gender roles have also been challenged. Women are increasingly pursuing careers and leadership positions, and men are taking on more caregiving responsibilities. And the shift has opened up many new possibilities, but it also has led to a reevaluation of societal expectations. So now think about, how have societal shifts impacted your life, like personally? Have you felt the benefits or the drawbacks of these changing norms? Because that's also going to affect how you're handling based upon the societal norms and your own expectations. Did it throw everything out of the water? Let me know. And then the familial or the family, whatever, evolutions. Because families are becoming more diverse. And generational differences are challenging traditional expectations. I mean, we all know that people are just like this these days. We've got more blended families now. They're on the rise, in single parent households as well, which has also led to a real reevaluation of family dynamics. I don't know why I can't say words today. Family dynamics. But the point is, these new structures have redefined what the normal family looks like. Again, challenging conventional expectations. And then cultural integration. As families become more diverse, cultural integration has led to blending of traditions and values. And this can lead to greater acceptance and understanding, but also conflicts, because different cultural expectations clash. as a first-generation American, they clash. And some water. Water breaks are important for the soul. Anyways, the point is, my own family is a melting pot of cultures and traditions. Thanksgiving dinners, some of my favorite, but they're a testament to that. With turkeys and stuffing and all that fun stuff, but we would add in some Dominican delicacies because I'm Dominican. And while this diversity enriches us, and I love the food, it can also lead to misunderstandings. Like if somebody comes over and they see, instead of very traditional Thanksgiving dinner, and they're wondering, where's this or where's that, because we've done it a different way. Or myself having gone to other people's homes and being like, oh, what is this food? I didn't know that. I mean, even if I told you when I found out that sweet potato pie existed, I didn't know that until I was an adult. I was like, what's sweet potato pie? Yeah. I don't think that's necessarily a horrible thing. I tried things, but later on in life, but you can see where it can lead to misunderstandings, because somebody could say, oh, potluck, and I'm bringing something that nobody else would have for Thanksgiving, but we did in my house growing up. That was my thing. I hate the headphones right now. I never have this problem. Okay, and then there's personal growth. So as a society and as, families evolve, our personal expectations do as well. Like I was kind of saying, as I was growing and getting older, of course, my expectations were changing because of that. And then you have mindful living. Did I talk about this on the next slide? Oh, no, that was the, well, you'll see, you'll find out. You saw, but whatever. That's, shh, we'll get there. Mindful living. So with mindful living, though, the wellness movement has, made a lot more people reevaluate their expectations. And a couple other, major things that happened in the world also made us kind of go into the mindset of being a little bit more mindful about living. My apologies for coughing. But anyways, so we're all kind of focusing more on fulfillment and balance. And that shift has encouraged a lot more people to start to redefine success and emphasize a lot more about mental health, mindfulness, and self-care. Plus, that brings you into self-discovery, because as we find out more with doing mindful living, we explore our own values and desires. And we often find that our expectations start to shift because of it. And it can lead to greater empowerment. But so it changes, but then it also brings us down new paths where we can feel really uncertain about it. Because it's something we didn't know, especially from childhood. I know I've gone through personal transformations, massive ones. I'm sure many of you have as well. Again, feel free, comment all of that. And how did all of that change all of your relationships? Think about that too. And your well-being. But then there's the dark side of expectations, which I kind of feel like I was talking about the dark side of it as well, in all of it. But let's really get into it. Let's be real. Really, really real. Ah, no. Okay, not funny? It was funny to me. So, that made me cough. So with unrealistic expectations, because that's what we're going into, really. They can lead to unattainable standards. It could be the pressure to succeed in a career, maintain a picture-perfect family. You know, what is it? Keeping up with the Joneses or whatever. Meeting societal ideals or deals of beauty. All of that leads to stress, burnout, and mental health issues every time. And that's really what it boils down to. It hurts you. And then there's comparison culture, especially these days. Social media has just made that in everyone's face. All we do is compare. We're sitting here looking at, measuring up these images of what it should be and how you should be, and that means success. And then you start to feel inadequate and get depressed because how do you live the life that all these other people are living? And then you go into perfectionism, which I mentioned before, but it's how it's happening and then leading everyone into it because you're looking for everything that you may never have wanted in the past, but now you think you should have, or it should be this way. And so it just brings you down this road of constantly having to do that and in this way because that's the way it is today. And what does it do? It strains personal connections. Sometimes it can make you or others become overcritical or just distant because they're not doing what you think that they should do. Expectations. And speaking of social media, there was a time I was trying to do like this perfect post. We won't say where. After an hour of choosing the right filter, caption, hashtag, all that stuff, I realized how much time I wasted trying to just make the next viral content when I could have been way more focused on how to be authentic in my business. Because that's actually what gets people further. It's being authentic. How can I make GBRLIFE different and not exactly the same as everyone else because everyone's seeing the same thing over and over again? But I had this expectation. And when you watch all these other people who are like, this is how you do this for the business and this is how you do that for a business, and it's this formula, and then you'll become rich and famous. Or, you know, not rich and famous, or then you become super successful, you know, in anything you're doing. Or then you can quit your 9-to-5 by doing this formula. So what's the expectation? That you do this and then the end result, you win. Or everything happens perfectly. So you're trying, but then you're forgetting about everyone and everything else around you. It doesn't help. Think about that. I'm sure many of you have had similar, you know, situations. I don't know any other better word for that. But here's a big one that a lot of people don't think about, and that's assumptions. I hate assumptions. I hate them so much. But assumed assumptions, that is, I wonder if that's, I have to think about that grammatically. It is wrong. It doesn't make sense. But assumed understanding is the actual thing. So many times we can assume that others understand our expectations, leading to what? Misunderstandings and conflicts. And then you have relationship strains. Because unspoken, let me say that again. Unspoken. You did not say it. You never vocalized it or wrote it down. You did not write it. You did not say it. You didn't even draw a picture. You did nothing. No one has any idea of your expectation. This was an assumption. And it leads to tension and strain. Because obviously the other person has no idea. And acting it out doesn't help. Like, just sometimes just say it. Just say it. Don't worry. I do this all the time. You can ask my husband. He will literally be like, in other words, he will say literally nothing, but he will look at me like, are you the pot calling the kettle right now? I am. We don't have to talk about it. Actually, we're literally talking about it. Okay, but anyways. So, with differing views on financial contributions or household roles or communication styles, they can create rifts if they're not addressed openly. And that's just like the small thing. It's everything. And then think also about professional miscommunication. In the workplace, assumed expectations can lead to conflicts between colleagues or between employees and management. Clear communication about roles, responsibilities, they're crucial to avoid misunderstandings. I need more water. My mouth is so dry. But no shame in the water game. Not this time. It's because I keep coughing. Without the... What is this thing called again? Cough drop. I forget words because I'm coughing. I'm just going to blame everything on coughing. If I mess up or there's technical issues, that happened because I was coughing. In this live, it happened because I was coughing. Do we agree? I feel like we agree. Cool, we agree. So anyways, and then I made me cough. This is why I don't typically go live whenever I'm not sick. Because I'm not sick. Okay. So misunderstandings can also bring you to funny situations. So I remember a time that I assumed a colleague of mine knew, I want to say, my personal preferences about project details. But this is only because I had done things exactly that way all the time. And I mean all the time. Like if I did a presentation, this was related to it was a presentation. It was just like we were going to have a meeting and we were going to talk about a specific topic. It didn't have to be anything uber formal, but I had already done it by myself. And so I was working with somebody else and I had done it a very particular way. And so then I was like, oh, let's just have a quick meeting. And we talked about it, but we never talked about how we were going to do it. So there I am going and doing some of the things. And then we decided to get back together to show each other what we did and then just like put the stuff together. Wow, they were working an entirely different thing. It was like, are we on the same topic? What like template are you using? Like I literally showed you what I was doing. But here's the thing. I didn't communicate that I expected it to be on the same template. And I know it sounds wrong, like, oh, I'm expecting that we do it my way. But it was because I had already done it prior and they were jumping along with me to do the next one. So it was not, I wasn't the lead. I mean, we were doing it together, but it was like, it made sense that we were just gonna, okay, so maybe I'm still with the expectation. But like, I thought, you know, we were going to do it again the same way, but about a different topic, and they were going to do it with me. And immediately I was like, once I saw their part of the presentation, I was like, oh, this is completely different. But here's the best part. Their stuff was awesome. And I liked it. And I started to change up some of my, my presentation. I liked it. So it didn't end up bad or anything, which we'll get into flexibility, but I didn't communicate, and that was on me, you know? You know now, because I just told you though, right? And I'm sure, again, you have some funny stories as well. Did you want to leave those in the chat, the comments? You want to start telling me about your expectations? Because I'd love to hear them. Let's start talking about some expectations. Or don't, it's fine. I'll just tell you all about mine. Let's just talk about me all the time. No, I'm just kidding. So, restrictive mindsets. I have that as a bloop. It's also on the presentation. You can't see it, but you can see it. The thing is about expectations, they limit our perspective. And they make it difficult to accept people as they are. It brings you to judgment and prejudice. See, rigid expectations can lead to the judgment and prejudice because they hinder genuine connections and understanding. They constrain relationships from friendships to professional networks because you won't open your mind. We need to have self-compassion. We must also recognize how expectations can limit our own self-perception, because I said own and self, and that was an oxymoron, I think. Letting go, though, of rigid self-expectations can lead to greater self-compassion and acceptance. Think about it. Have you ever found yourself judging or being judged due to rigid expectations? And how have you handled it? I mean, I have plenty of stories about that, but then we'd be here literally all night. And I did that the last time, and I don't want to do that. That was so long. And I'm not saying I wouldn't do a 2-hour thing again live, but I would for sure. But I would probably start a little earlier. So how do we handle all this in expectation world? We find balance and acceptance, while maintaining healthy relationships and self-awareness. We start with mindful reflection. We take the time to reflect on our own expectations. Are they realistic? Are they serving you? Or are they hindering you? Have you recognized and addressed the questions in yourself to help you develop healthier standards for yourself and for others? But you got to start with yourself. And then you can do journaling. Consider a journal to keep all of your thoughts and your feelings. But consider making at least a portion of that about expectations. It can help you identify and reevaluate, that's the word, unrealistic standards, which can also, of course, help you figure out things that are going on in your brain and give you some more clarity and balance. And the easiest, I don't want to say that this is the easiest, but like going to therapy, of course, is great or a counselor, because they can work with you literally and help you find tools to help manage your expectations in a really healthy way toward yourself and others. And did I mention clear communication? Because I did have that little rant. Clear communication. It's huge because you can't expect others to know exactly what it is that you're expecting. It doesn't matter if it's in a professional world, personal, in your family. Doesn't matter. If you aren't communicating exactly what your expectation is to prevent misunderstandings and to help foster stronger connections, I'm going to answer the question for you. Is the problem you? Yes. Yes. Could be me too, you know, because I could be doing it. I am for sure. But I know that. And it's part of the reason why I felt it was so important to actually do a live about this. Because I have found that in my life, not only do I need to be more clear, let me say this better. In my life, I have grown exponentially and found that using clear, as I don't say the word right, using clear communication, my life has just gotten better. I'm happier because I'm just saying that this is what I want and this is why. And then it's brought about a lot of really good conversations. And sometimes my expectations are still there, but the other person is aware of it, and either I can work on those types of expectations or they can work on the fact that my way is the right way. We'll leave that there, husband dear. And children. I'm just kidding. Am I though? No, but really, clear communication has been huge. But I also personally don't accept it when people have expectations of me and they just don't say a word. I may even know that the expectation is there and I'm like, you didn't say a thing. And I'm not going to keep playing those games anymore. Because that's what they become. You have an expectation. You don't say a word to me. I'm sitting here trying to figure it out. You're mad at me for days or weeks or whatever. You still don't say anything. You hold a grudge. 10 years later, you finally tell me, hey, I was mad because of this. And maybe you were valid in the moment, but you didn't ask me why. Or not asking why necessarily, but there could have been a reason is what I'm trying to say. Or I could have had an opportunity to say I'm sorry. And now know that that was an expectation. So the person you're expecting things from isn't always the bad guy. Because you didn't do your part. Even if they did something not great. Because yeah, there's society expectations, but I went into all of it. Was that something that was expected in their family? Did they know these things? Because we're not all the same person. Use your mouth. Write it down. Draw a picture. Whatever you need to do. Be clear, communicate. I'm pot calling the kettle black. But I am learning and I'm growing. Personally. How am I learning and growing? Setting boundaries. Because communicating clear boundaries is crucial in maintaining healthy relationships. You do not have to do things because somebody has an expectation either. But you do need to be honest about what you expect, or really encourage them to do the same so that everybody's on the same page. Hey, I expect this, you expect that. Which means also you have to have active listening. Because if you're communicating your own expectations, you obviously need to listen to the expectations and the views and understanding of other people's. It can help prevent misunderstandings, and it can also help foster empathy. I found that honest communication and listening are great tools in moments that I have found myself having expectations, or when others have expectations of me that I just, again, didn't really know until that moment. And sometimes it's as simple as saying, hey, this is my expectation. I don't know how to make it any easier. It's just, this is the case. That's it. And, again, they may not agree to the expectation. But at the same time, I may not agree to their expectation either. Because they may require me to unprioritize aspects of life that matters to me. And if I'm respecting you, you have to respect me. That should be a boundary. We should have kindness towards each other. But having those open communication or conversations help to improve your relationships and bring you there. Again, we can't know what others are thinking or wanting if we never ask. And they can't know what you want if you never say it. So moving on though, embracing diversity. Recognize that everyone has their own path. They don't need to conform to your expectations to be acceptable. Let me say that one more time. Everyone has their own path. I am being quiet because I want that to sink in. People do not need to conform to your expectations for them or their lives to be acceptable. Embracing diversity can lead to deeper, more meaningful relationships and a greater sense of peace. It's funny. It seems impossible. But if you just learn to accept others, regardless of expectations, you'd be surprised how many more people would actually get along. Especially if they're clear and realizing that others don't have to go along with it. I'm not saying you have to be friends or in each other's lives or, being the main. But it wouldn't be a GBRLIFE live if we didn't have some technical difficulties, a little bit of coughing, and a whole lot of ridiculous humor. Okay, so anyways. Cultural appreciation. Learning about different cultures and viewpoints can help broaden your perspective, reducing judgment and promoting acceptance. Of course. It's the whole thing I'm trying to say. And you know what? It's funny because it ends up bringing you to self-acceptance. Because you are starting, when you do all this, you start to embrace your own journey and accept yourself as you are. Recognizing your unique path can lead you to self-love and actual contentment. I know, that's crazy. These days, especially. I forgot to change the presentation. So cultivating empathy and understanding with active listening, diverse viewpoints, patience and compromise. We'll get to the double-edged sword in just a moment. Anyways, have you embraced diversity in your life? Have you learned from others' unique paths? Because I know I have. That's, I think, one of the reasons why I even started my own, growth, because I saw so many different things in the world, and I was like, okay, well, I gotta know who I am. What do I want? What do I like? I mean, there was other factors, but it added to it. Now, this is one thing about expectations that I have the biggest problem with. It's funny because when I say what it is, it'll make sense when I said when. And that is, I have lipstick on my straw. Drumroll. Releasing control. I didn't mean to make it like a whole thing, but I was like, well, if I'm doing it, let's just keep it going. But yeah, releasing control. Perfectionism is so part of my life. And the thing is, when it comes to expectations, you do have to release control, because you have to let go of the need to control every single little aspect of your life, because you have to accept things as they are rather than how you want them to be in order for you to be happy. I know. At least for me. It's hard. But it does lead to greater harmony in your relationships, because at the end of the day, it would be 1,000 times easier to I don't want to necessarily be a twin, but doesn't it sound nice if any twins are watching? I don't know if this is your actual life, but this is what people say, so don't blame me. But you know what the other person is thinking? I mean, my husband definitely knows me extremely well, and oftentimes just from a look on my face, he knows what I'm thinking. But sometimes he doesn't, and then I have the expectation, of course, that he does know exactly what I'm thinking. And then I'm upset if he doesn't know what I'm thinking, and it's like, or I could just not feel that way, and I could just say what I'm thinking. And I'm happier because he knows what I want and need. And that's it. And I mean, again, all of this has to be done in kindness, as others should be doing it for you. But it's also a big release to say, you don't have to live up to everyone else's expectations. And that's how I feel about it. So how do you do that, though? How do you get to that place in yourself? Mindfulness practices. I mean, I talked about journaling already, but also meditation. If you are into things like that, yoga as well. Or none of that. You can just go right back to writing. But another big thing is gratitude. Being thankful for the things that you have. Actually taking a minute and focusing on just the things that you do have, rather than the things you don't. Because the expectations shift your mindset to the more complicated burnout stress, or you can let those go, and then you'll get into appreciation. No more control. You've let go of control, and now you appreciate. I know that I've found that practicing mindfulness has helped me release control and accept life as it is. The release always puts me back into a state of mind that lets others live how they want to live, but reminding myself that I get to do the same, which I'm so grateful for. I'm an adult now. I got responsibilities now. If you don't know where that came from, that is from Rugrats. The episode where Chucky, well, they were all adults. So this is when they were babies, so the original Rugrats. Now when they started to become older kids. And Chucky in particular was trying to be a responsible adult, but Tommy, being Tommy, was doing his thing and wanting to go on adventures. And Chucky was like, I got responsibilities now. And I say this literally to my husband all the time. We have to pay a bill. I'm like, we got responsibilities now. I like it. It was funny to me. Are you laughing? Tell me in the comments. I should call those cough breaks. Cough break water. Anyways, the point is, I am grateful. I'm very grateful because I get to be myself. And everybody else gets to be themselves too. I accept everybody as who they are. I hope you all do too. Although I am going to say, there is a double-edged sword. Yeah. Because if you see the presentation, that's why it says double-edged sword. Yeah. Because they're good and they're bad, right? Expectations. You do it so dirty. It can't be just one thing. Because the thing is, they can guide us and provide direction and structure. But then they can lead to the stress and misunderstandings and strained relationships. But the thing is, if you focus on, because the thing is, like, we're gonna have them. I can't say to you, like, just have no expectations. That's not possible. We're literally, I don't know if we're raised to be that way or we're created into that, but they're there and that's who we are as humans. But we can focus on managing the expectations by reflecting on communication. That way we can have healthier relationships with ourselves and with others. So that kind of ends, expectations. It does. Because there's only so much you can talk about with it. Although this was quite a good, a long enough conversation in my opinion. But I do thank you for joining me on this journey of exploration. And remember, your path is yours to forge. It's, I gotta do the verification. Okay. So like I said, your path is yours to forge. And others get to forge their own path as well. We should be celebrating diversity and embracing acceptance and navigating the complexities of expectations together. We really should. What else can I say to that? Oh, I had a really good example I forgot about this, on my presentation. I'm actually going to talk about it first before I close out the live. So a good example of expectations that people don't think about, but it helps you to really put into mind everything that I'm trying to say, and understanding where we have to think about how we judge others based on, even though as I say this to you, you're going to have some judgments. Again, normal. But should you continue it? And that is gift giving. It's something it's not commonly talked about or thought about. But in some cultures, giving a gift has to be done. Let me say this actually better. In all cultures, gift giving is done differently. Some cultures, you give a gift and they expect you to open the gift immediately. Some cultures, they expect you to put it to the side and do that later, because it would seem weird if you're just opening gifts right in front. My camera went out again. There you go. So gift giving is completely done differently everywhere. With people wanting to open gifts later, do it right away. And sometimes it can be considered rude if you don't do it right in front of them. And then show your reaction of being really happy about the gift. And then other times, people are why would you do that in front of me? Like, you're supposed to do this later. You have to know what country are you in? What culture are you a part of? In the United States, we're a melting pot, so there could be a lot of different people that you're around. And so that's kind of important to know that. But it's also important to know your audience. If that person wouldn't necessarily know how the practice is, you can't have the expectation of that other person to not only know how to react to the situation, but essentially, if you're going to judge them in the moment for something that they don't know, maybe it takes a moment for them to find out. And then, in addition to that, they may disagree with it. They may feel like, I don't like doing gift giving that way. Well, they're a different person. And it's up to all of us individually to start changing our own mindset to be more accepting of others. But gift giving, look into it. You'll see for yourself, it's different in the entire world. And then lastly, on my presentation, I did just kind of a way to say, are you the problem or the solution? To be the problem, you're clinging to rigid expectations, projecting unrealistic ideals onto, I said your partner, but it could be anybody, and avoiding honest communication. Or you could be the solution by embracing flexibility and adaptability, cultivating empathy and understanding, and fostering open and transparent dialogue. Really, when it boils down to it, be kind, communicate. And if you're not communicating and understanding that everyone is not you, they don't live the life you live, they don't have the exact same circumstance of every little detail. Their in-laws are not the same as your in-laws. The help they have is not the same help you have. The neighborhood they're in is not the same neighborhood you're in. Everything makes a difference. So they can't be expected to live life exactly as you live, or raise their kids the way that you raise them. And shoot, they may hate the way you raise your kids. They may be like, your kids are not nice. I don't want to do it that way. And you're sitting here like, my kids are great. They're perfect. You should be raising kids the way I say. And maybe you're right. Maybe they're too lenient. Maybe they're too rough. Maybe they're whatever the case is. And then in addition to that, we also have expectations of people without even having any experience of what that life is. It's the whole walking in their shoes thing, but we don't even take a second to walk in their shoe or think about walking into their shoes, but we know it all. We have control over it. We have to have the control. Well, that's being the problem, not the solution. Being the solution is understanding that everybody is different. And actually, and again, speaking as somebody, I have plenty of problems with that on my own, just like many others. The more I embrace, the more I'm open and honest, and also shut my mouth when I need to shut my mouth because I need to let others live, I'm actually happier. And not everybody around me loves it, but that's okay. I'm not upset that everyone isn't happy exactly how I live my life. I don't need them to be anymore. That's more true joy. Just saying, you can have it too. It could be you. So anyways, so to actually end this all so that my headphones can stop falling off of me every 5 seconds and the camera will keep going out, but it's not a GBRLIFE live without technical difficulties and some coughing. It's just this life. But next week, we're going to be talking about, drum roll. I should actually have that on my stream deck where I could press that and it'd be like, no, but next week we're going to be talking about how to monetize content using Patreon or other alternatives like I think it's Podia, Selfie. Oh no, Selfie, and Buy Me a Coffee. No, that's actually the name, but Buy Me a Coffee. You can go to link in bio and then send it through PayPal and then I'll buy a coffee. Yeah? I like coffee, but you don't have to. But that's the name of the actual platform. So if you don't want to use Patreon, I am going to go through those 4 alternatives. Podia, Selfie, buy me a coffee, and I will talk about Patreon because, things are changing in the world and different platforms are changing. Wow, my camera went out again. My camera goes from default to not the default, and it wants to go to like, how cameras, how computers act. They're like, oh, do you want this speaker to be your camera? It's like, no, because it's a speaker. When AI fully comes out, like an Android, it's going to be awesome because they're going to be like, of course you only want a camera, not a speaker. Who does that, you old computers? They'll be talking to themselves because their computer talking to themselves. I'll be there listening to those conversations. You don't have to be there. I'll be there. Like, go talk to yourself. Computer, type, or like self-type, and talk to the Android. And I'll just watch. Like, what do you want to say to each other? Are you friends? Do you like each other? Do you hate each other? Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be talking about monetizing content, Patreon, Padilla, Selfie, Buy Me a Coffee. If I said those wrong, please let me know exactly how I'm supposed to. And be sure not to miss out on next week's live with all of that. But if you do, it's okay because you can also go to GBRLIFE.com because I put all of my lives, the recap, over there for the week prior. If you subscribe to the Patreon, you can also see all of my lives. They're always there. All of them. No matter what. But like I said, you can also just go to GBR Life for at least the very last live. So if you miss it, it's okay. It's also available on YouTube and so many other places. So the point is that you do not have to worry about missing out on GBR Life because the reality is that GBR Life is a wealth of insights and discussions and resources on topics that range from mental health and wellness to parenting and work-life balance. And you can see I'm talking about reviews, which is usually what my lives are about, how-to things. Last week we did podcasting 101. I have a wealth of information and I love to share it. So we do a lot of those, and I will focus a lot more of my lives on that. But, because GBR Life is so many different things, I'm going to also bring up the different aspects of it. And there's also the entire life and wellness section on GBRLife.com. So be sure to check that out if you're interested in more health and wellness topics or parenting or anything of that sort. They are blog posts, but, it's just a little reading. Just a little bit. I like to read. Do you like to read? Also tell me that in the comments. But until next time, follow me everywhere you see me. I would love to have all of you be part of the GBR Life computer. The GBR Life community. Until next time. Oh, actually, I have a new scene that I created, so I want to see if that actually works out too. Let you know that the stream is ending, and I want to wish you all the best night ever. Get some sleep, drink some good water, and I will see you all next Wednesday, 9:45 Central Standard Time. Because I'm in the Central Standard place here, which is why you Eastern time zone people are like, why are you on so late? I am on late, but it's later for you. And what? I still have like an hour before it's considered the next day. Okay, but for realsies, until next week. See